Okay, welcome to the reception, the first night of the Water Pavilion at COP. I mentioned this morning that it took us 12 years to come here. We started in 2009 after Copenhagen COP. After 12 years we have a Water Pavilion. Now we have 12 days to make the water on top of the agenda. So 12 days from now on, this is day one. So we should celebrate tonight that we have the Water Pavilion around, and I would like to start this celebration with inviting some of our core partners that have been able to set up this pavilion to say a few words about where we are and where we are going. So let me start with our dear friend from Tajikistan, the first Deputy Minister of Energy and Water Resources, Jamshed Shoimzoda. Please, a few words from you.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. And as we mentioned, today is a very historical day because all our colleagues also mentioned that this is the first time in the 12 years that we are coming to COP. And I believe that it's we're not just coming to, we're coming because it's serious issues. The water is very serious and very important issues. And the water playing big role in the climate agenda. And in any mitigation is also depend on the water. And I'm very want to say a word of thanks to all our partners which are indicated here, and government and non-government organization, and of course my word of thanks to your team, to what we are doing here is very interesting, very popular, and I believe that another 11 days will be also very interesting as of today. And I believe that the Water Pavilion will be registered as a COP, as any meetings, and we will be used every platform to promote the water and the climate agenda in the global area. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, and I believe that we also bring some dry fruits from Tajikistan and invite you to test it. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Thanks a lot. And another of our core partner from governments is our next guest on stage, Dr. Bernd-Markus Liss, representing, well, on behalf of the Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, but you are head of section for climate and climate policy in the Department for Sectoral and Global Program at the Deutsche Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit, GIZ. Please, Dr. Bernd-Markus Liss, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you, colleagues, for inviting us here. On behalf of BMZ, unfortunately, they regret they couldn't make it in their tight schedule. I'm very glad also to convey the organizers here and also to thank for the opportunity to be a partner within this water pavilion, the first water pavilion in a COP. I think this marks a turnaround because water and the nexus of water, climate, energy, nutrition, adaptation and mitigation is very important, and it's to be emphasized and to be stressed that water is at the core of climate adaptation and mitigation. So just talking about nature-based solutions, the wetlands, etc., when it comes to adaptation, but also mitigation when we talk about fossil fuel use for water supply, for waste management, etc. So I'm very glad that we had this partnership and have still with the Stockholm Institute for Water Management, and we are very glad also that we, now talking on behalf of GIZ, we could engage in a few events here also and contribute. I'm thanking all the partners here around, and let's join forces for more action for water and to put this in the limelight of managing the climate crisis, and for more water, for more climate action and cross-sectoral approaches. Thank you very much, and we really appreciate to be here at the first Water Pavilion.
Thank you, and good to have you in a great partnership. Then among the 30 plus partners that have been cooperating to make this possible, I would like now to recognize the International Union for Conservation of Nature. And tonight we have the pleasure to have Chris Buss here, and you are Director for the Center for Economy and Finance at IUCN. Please, Chris.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here to open. Actually, Bernd-Markus I think has opened up with all my words that I was going to say, because it's great to see here. I mean, actually, what is really impressive is, in my briefing notes were the range of partners and sponsors. I mean, that's a fantastic group that are being brought together around a series of over 100 events. So very impressive, and I congratulate the steering committee and organisers of pulling this off. Well, perhaps we congratulate on day 12, but at the beginning we'll start now with a phase of optimism as we are right at the beginning of COP. But so I mean, and Bernd-Markus, you mentioned this is the first water pavilion at COP, which I didn't know, so thank you for informing me that. And but I think, you know, in speaking to my water colleagues and hearing water people, it's always the forgotten sector. It's always disappeared. So now it has a pavilion on its own. It's taking leadership and showing that its role in climate change, the role in adaptation, the role in mitigation. And I think as we drive our nature-based solutions agenda with IUCN, it's great working with so many partners to keep driving the role of water that just across every sector. And sometimes we're all very good at putting ourselves in every sector, but that means you get lost in every sector. So hopefully this is also an opportunity for that step change to really make that happen. So I believe there's also cocktail parties, so it's always a danger to keep on the microphone for too long. So I would just say thank you very much to everyone's collaboration, and look forward to participating in a few events over the next 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Chris. That's fantastic. And now, before returning right, on my side at least, I will give the floor to Danny from Global Water Partnership to tell us a bit some messages, and verbal, and I think also video messages. So over to you, Danny.
Can I take that? Yes. So we made it. We arrived at COP26. And how sweet it is. From the seed of this idea that germinated 2 years ago into this tree that has blossomed into 100 flowers today. We couldn't have done it, again, without the support of all of our partners, and we're really excited to be able to celebrate what we have achieved. Some of that has been around some messaging work. The idea was to create some strong messages and united messages that could be echoed by everyone throughout the halls of COP26. Some of you who might like late night television shows, like, you know, they do reverse countdowns, right? So the top 5. So the top 5 water messages, we're going to do a water countdown. So you could have the drum roll, please. Number 5, the water community is united on ambitious science-based climate action. Number 4, hosting 100 events across 11 themes, the Water Pavilion at COP26 is working for the inclusion of all voices in action for water and climate solutions. Number 3, water offers powerful climate solutions and can help us secure a 1.5-degree future. Number 2, more effective water management will also enable smarter climate adaptation. And number 1, local communities typically bear the brunt of water-related climate impacts and are often responsible for stewarding their water resources. Climate finance needs to flow to those who need it the most, vulnerable communities on the front lines of the climate crisis. So everyone has a role to play. There are different ways of communicating. We can use entertainment as a medium of communication for water. We can use music as a medium of communication for water. So we're going to watch a couple videos. First of all, it's CEO Gary White and actor Matt Damon, who we all know and love, co-founders of Water.org and Water Equity.
Hello, I'm Gary White. I'm pleased to be here with my co-founder of Water.org and Water Equity, Matt Damon, speaking to you at the first ever Water and Climate Pavilion at COP.
I know thousands of people are tuning in online because you couldn't make it here in person, and that level of participation shows that we understand how critical climate action is at exactly this moment.
That's right. We are here to remind people that climate change is and will continue to be most dramatically experienced by people through water. Droughts or floods and hurricanes too much water or too little water.
And let's not forget that the people who suffer the most from the realities of climate change so far are the people with the fewest resources to bounce back from major shocks.
Absolutely. That's why it's critical to be a part of the first unified water presence at COP. We are here to help this community understand that water is not only a climate challenge, but also how water can serve as part of the solution.
Yes, water action must be a part of climate action, and we need governments to raise their level of ambition in their climate commitments.
And from what I've been hearing so far, many commitments and national adaptation plans are playing it a bit too safe. I want governments and their advisors to know that there is a network of support at the ready. Water.org and a host of others are here to help you with climate-smart water policy.
We're serious about this. Connect with someone at the Water and Climate Pavilion today, or go to water.org for more information on how we can help.
Very great words, a call to action from our friends at water.org. And now we are going to be listening to Låpsley, who is an English artist and producer performing Through Water on the strong interconnection between water and both climate adaptation and mitigation.
Hello, my name is Låpsley, and my ancestors come from a little place not far from Glasgow, in Falkirk, where the canals meet in central Scotland. And Låpsley actually means keeper of the loch, which I thought was interesting. I've always had an affinity to water. I actually grew up by the seaside in North Liverpool. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to perform for the Pavilion opening ceremony. The song that I'm about to sing was born from a place of both fear and curiosity as a young person navigating through information about climate change, exploring my own concerns and conscience throughout this track. The spoken words you hear are taken from a speech made by Mark Fletcher from Arup on how the majority of impacts of climate change will be felt through water, how mitigation and adaptation will be the key tools to help tackle this inescapable transition. From his words, I took optimism in the ability of science, engineering, and international relations to find radical solutions. This is Through Water. The majority of impacts will be felt through water. Through water. Through water. Next 10 years. For the next 10 years. This is followed by the failure of mitigation and adaptation. Adaptation and mitigation. Mitigation and adaptation. I think about the glass running out of sand. I got a conscience in my left and decisions in my right hand. I think about the oil underneath my feet, to the cars on the road, to the tarmac beneath my feet. Mitigation and adaptation. Extreme weather events, food crises. And food crises. Connected with the water and the water cycle. Connected with the water and the water cycle. About the glass running out of sand. I got a conscience on my left and decisions in my right hand. I think about the oil underneath my feet, to the cars on the road, to the
mitigation and adaptation through water.
Thank you.
Fantastic, wasn't it? And now I think the bar is to be opened. Enjoy!